another question.
Yeah, sure.
Researchers and where do they get the information? Because to me, I'm saying information because I think it's information when it's inside this planet. Am I right?
You are right. Yes. So I
Yeah.
didn't hear the first
So,
part. The first part, I didn't hear what you of that question.
okay. I'm asking about the researchers or scientists.
Okay.
Where do they get the information?
Yeah. Another great question. So, a lot of people will say things like that, like, where does the master get all this information from? And one of the things that he did was master the information on the planet. And so when you're saying researchers, the word re, as you know, is to do again, like redo something,
Yes, yes.
research, yeah?
Yeah.
And you can hear it. So
Yeah.
literally you're saying search again, research, search again. And a lot of times people were just accepting things on face value or based on beliefs. They never really took the time to check it out. And when you study or you actually look at the books and read them and research them, you will find the information is right there all the time. It's literally in front of you. And people just were taught or put under a spell or a spell of amnesia. We call it the spell of Kingu or the spell of Leviathan, which was actually casted by witches to make you forget or to not even like see something that's right in front of your face. So when researchers research, we know that as ontologists, as the original beings on the planet first, we kept a lot of records. There are many records that are written in stone tablets, you know, on buildings like the pyramids and in Sumeria and many cultures that predate the monotheistic religions. You know, you can go to like South America, you know, as I said, the Mayans, the Zoroastrians, the what people call the ancient Egyptians, the Sumerians, the even people, you know, Africa like Igbo or dealing with Yoruba or Hausa even. There are many cultures that existed, even Hindu. You know, there are many cultures that predate monotheistic religions, which are literally only 6,000 years old. So you go to, that's another thing, a very good question. On the planet, right, if there's an event that takes place, let's say a meteorite hit the planet, the evidence will be
Yeah.
left. Or if there was a flood, or, you know, there was a war, or anything that takes place on the planet where the actual land itself, like if you go to the Grand Canyon, for example, there were many things that people will just look at and go, oh, the Grand Canyon, but they don't think what caused it. And then when researchers start looking and looking from an aerial view, okay, and looking at craters and looking at things like, you can see, oh, once there was a flood here, because you can see where like the streams have left or eroded the planet, or you may be able to go
Yeah.
to that spot and find certain minerals and certain things. So researchers, they just uncover, they don't discover anything because it's already there. They just uncover it and say they've discovered it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we know that if you go back and look at, you know, the evidence that's around the world on the planet, it's like temples are still there. Like you have remnants of old buildings that were left incomplete or that were destroyed, and you can find this evidence. And that's what they do. They research, they take DNA, they do carbon dating, they do all kinds of tests with the technology that we have now. Hence, even like with the geoscanning, you know, how they were able to now use, you know, satellites and things like that to scan the planet and see what's underneath the planet without even having to dig, you see. And you can look at heat sensors that will give you a breakdown of the different types of elements and things that reside in a particular location. So we know that if you do the research, you will find the truth. So what they did was stop you from actually connecting backwards, but to just believe and look up and hope for somebody else to come and save you so you don't have to do anything. And a lot of people actually, unfortunately, they just accept that without thinking about it. But when we start to probe and ask questions like, you know, where is this place and who's coming and how are they coming and how are they traveling, and you know, then you start to uncover that it doesn't actually make sense. And for some people it's too much. Like, I asked a question to somebody today. I said, in religion they teach you that if you, we don't say die because we know you can't actually, you know, destroy energy, but if you cross over or translate, they tell you that you're going to go into two places. One is either to heaven or one is to hell, right? But yet people have
Yeah.
cemeteries where they have tombstones that they go to and spend money, you know, to put flowers down, clean the stone and all. And then I said to the person, well, if you're only going to go to either heaven or hell, that means you're no longer there at the graveyard or at the cemetery. So why do people go there every week or every month or every anniversary to go and talk to a stone if nobody's there? And this is, I'm just using that as a basic example to show you that if you use your mind logically and think about things, either they're saying that there is no heaven or hell, or the people are still here, they're trapped here, or what is the purpose? Because we teach in our doctrine that not everybody makes it out of here. So there are disembodied beings that are trapped here that haven't been allowed to leave by way of the gates. But what I'm saying is, if you didn't question that and think to yourself, yeah, why am I going to the cemetery and going to the tombstone if the person is in hell or in heaven? Why am I doing that? You see, these are the types of things that with Wu-Sabat, you start to use your nine mind and you think, as they say, outside the box.